Hello everyone, this is HydraLord here, doing his third cast ever for a FFA with a few friends of mine. So, Feral and Watts ZE. So I have to put my usual disclaimer down that I am not a pro level player nor a pro level caster. I am simply a individual who wants to put his games online and maybe put a little bit of voice track down with it. So I hope you enjoy watching, but if you start trolling me on the comments, I'm not really going to care too much. So anyway, excuse me, just had a delicious burger. So this is an interesting game. I have to first say that us three comrades, Hydra, Feral, and Watts, we constantly play games together. We are a gaming group who indulges in all different type of activities, from board games to video games to role-playing games, and we all have a different way in which we like to play. Some of us are more definitive than others, but at the same time, we all have had our established ideas behind how we game. So, with that said, let me introduce the crew. Farrell here, who's talking about Pi. We used to play StarCraft together way back during the Brood War days, and we used to LAN all the time. He really is an ultra competitive man. He really, really enjoys the hunt of the mental spirit and enjoys playing competitively against people. He's not really feeling like he's getting anything out of his gaming unless he is putting his mind up against his fellow comrades in arms. So, he's also putting up a 2-gate as well, so he hasn't decided to block his ramp at all, too. This is probably his third game of StarCraft 2. I've seen him online a couple of times, but otherwise he doesn't tend to get online too much. Over here is our good friend, RW2Z. We'll call him Watts, because that's what he is. He's my Watts. So he has done his wall effectively, but he's only working on a 1 rack right now. But he's sitting on 17 drones, which is not too bad, or 17 SCVs. So he's kind of working on his micro a little bit. Um, anyway, so he's also very new to StarCraft. He used to play a lot. Also with us during the Brood Wars, we used to just play against each other all the time. He doesn't get online too often either, but this is a man who really believes in Sun Tzu's art of war. This is a man who has studied tactics, historical and non-historical alike, and just really enjoys, the tactical, strategical gameplay inside of each one of these elements. So, in my opinion, StarCraft is one of the best games for that, because it's such a. I mean, I know that there are bugs being found all the time for StarCraft, and people are constantly exploiting. But that's like warfare as well too. People find ways to exploit it, and then people come around and balance it out with some new technology. So with that said, I truly, truly believe that StarCraft is a balanced practice art of warfare. So I'm happy to see him playing with us today. And then you have myself, who is the Orange Zerg today, HydraLord, who is getting up his second hatchery right now. And annoying Feral with his overlords. What's he doing here? Putting a forge up? Okay, so it looks like he's. Yeah, and I have to say this just to distract a little bit, to derail a tiny bit. I talked to Farrell after this game, and he said very specifically that he knew that I knew that he was going to go with like a full Colossus rush, which is usually what he likes to do. He likes a ton of Colossus and a ton of Zealots. So he knew that I knew that I was going to do that. So of course, me assuming that was going to happen, I tech straight to lair as quickly as I could and put down my Spire as quick as I can. Because I wanted to just mute rush him. I just wanted to make him hurt for picking out a bunch of zealots and other stuff. Plus, I figured it's also a really good way to get into the back door of the Terran player as well too, Watts, and play with him, because his Marines will be tasty, but I can. They'll eat me up a little bit, especially if it gets stim. Which, let's pull up the production tab. Which he hasn't gotten to yet, but I knew if he got stim that it would kind of be over for the Mutalisk, so I needed to kind of hit him hard and quick. So it was really about whoever I was going to find first. So, but I did scout Feral first, so he's kind of the first target. Spire should be almost done by now, and I unfortunately only been mining off of 2 gas up until the Spire come up. I really should have had 4 up by now, but that's what it is, right? I'm just enjoying a game with friends, and I'm just really excited to have 2 of my favorite people playing one of my favorite games with me. So looks like Watts is getting up his second command center too. He's a little late in the expansion, but Feral is definitely behind in the expansion. He's actually really saturated his probe line. This is just I've seen him do this before too. He just really goes crazy in the probe department. Actually, let's see exactly what he has. 26. Yeah, so he's got the highest count right now. It's actually not too crazy. I thought it was worse, but he usually just goes really intense on the probes. So anyway, got my first Muta out. Really, like I said, slow start for me in that regard because usually I'm trying to get on 4 gas if I'm doing this Muta thing. But I'm pretty much ready to see one of them at this point too. So I'm putting spine crawlers down as well too because I'm just we do this. We just sit and we just do our builds and then we see what happens. And we've never, especially when we all play together, we are not aggressive, and that might be to our downfall because none of us wants a really short game since we don't get the opportunity to sit down and play together too often. But Watts is getting he's just really heavy hitting this marine build with the combat shield and the siege tank. He's just going for like the Terran turtle build essentially. He just wants to sit and hold on that. And I'm checking for expansions, making sure that no one's expanded to anywhere that I can't get to them yet. But looks like I got the four mutas, and I'm gonna come in here and see what's going on. So yep, Stargate. So that terrifies me because that means awful void rays. But he hit the photon. He put up a couple photon cannon defenses too. I think he was expecting him at this point. So, but it's okay. The stalkers aren't too hard to take down. So I figure we'll get a little bit in there. I think he told me again after the game at this point too. He was fuming at this point because I just walked in his back door and all he has are these zealots, which are just they'll do nothing right now. And unfortunately, the really the hard part about playing free for all, especially with 3 people, is that 2 people can be duking it out, and it really just gives the third player time to build up. And I think Watts is really taking advantage of that right now because he's just doing his slow tech build and just getting out marauders with 1 rack and then just reactoring the hell out of marines in the second one and just really putting a lot of effort into this ramp here, knowing that that's his 1 choke point. Now, I'm certain if I hadn't come and harassed Feral, he could easily have swooped in this back arc here and really just done some damage to him. But right now, Watts is kind of getting a free pass because of the harassment that I've done against Feral. So it looks like he's pumping out voids now too, which is just, again, voids are great way to go if you got a lot of mutas and a lot of really anything. Too much of those guys can really tear everything and anything apart, especially once they get fully charged. But let's see. What am I doing over here? I'm spreading my creep, not very effectively. I think at this point I realized I was like, haven't done any creep spread at all. Damn it! So I think I'm just starting to get that up now. And have I? No, I'm just rolling with mutas and lings around, checking for expansions. I think I'm going to go test Watts at this point too. Or I might be going for this expansion. I think I'm heading for the expansion here. So let's see if I can get it. Yeah, these marauders and marines, they didn't even know what hit them. They just took them apart. And the SCVs are pretty much done. Let's see if I don't know if he's going to lift this command or not. He better, though, because otherwise it's going to get destroyed. And I think the mutas will be able to take care of this thing without too much problem. Let's see. Is he going to bring around? Oh, no, he brought them all around. Come on, let's see if the links can get a full surround on. Nope. That's actually going to hurt a lot. So I should have just followed it up into the front here. I figured he had nothing else. If really the best way, instead of fleeing for the upper edge, I really should have just gone in the base here, because there's no way the Marines would have been able to follow. But, and now he's going to have to spend all this time taking SCVs off the line in order to repair this command center. But really, it would have been much wiser for me to just swoop in here from the back and start knocking out SCVs while just tearing away at that comm center. But hey, c'est la vie. his bio ball is now going to kind of float around, and I think he's going to try to do an counter too. Thankfully, most of my mutas survive, so I have a pretty thick ball here right now. Let's see, we got 14 mutas, not bad, but against 26 Marines, that starts to get a little scary. So let's see. What is Feral doing here? He is moving up. He saw the muta, so he did the right thing. He went straight for Phoenix, and kept while doing Void Rays at the same time. Phoenix are the best muta counter that you can think about. And I haven't actually done this replay at all, so it looks like he's just gonna ping my Overlord here. So I haven't seen any interaction between Feral and Watts either. But thankfully, these Marines are just going to get torn apart. But I did lose my Queen in the process, which sucks. They're not that expensive, but it's really a pain to lose a Queen. You just gotta micro them back up, and it just sucks. So anyway, I see, going for the Baneling nest now, considering I've seen his bio ball, and figure that can't stand. If I get a couple Banelings, hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But really, the deal here is Feral's amassing quite a force here, and he's sitting on a good amount of economy too. I'm surprised he hasn't made a move out yet. I don't know if he wants to chrono boost out a couple more Void Rays before he goes in there or not, but really, he's sitting on a thick, nice army right here. 96 supply. Well, just compared to the rest too. Again, these mutas are they're pretty nasty, but I don't think they could do anything against. Well, let's see, 5 Phoenixes and how many mutas do we have here? Let's go back to units again. 16. Oh, you know what? I am a liar. That actually might work out pretty well. It just depends on if he can get them all at the same time or not. Well, let's see, because we're engaging right here. Taking that guy out. Let's see. Okay, he's bringing the Phoenix over and the Void. So let's see. Goes through. Okay, 1 Phoenix down. We're holding on with 13 mutas. Wow, I actually completely forgot about that. They actually really tore those Phoenixes apart. Do we have any upgrades? Yeah, well, that's a big deal, is when you get the +1 upgrade, especially for mutas with that bounce. It just really jumps their damage up at 10. It's a big deal. So it actually looks like we got almost all of them out, with only 5 mutas left, but still, that's enough to really piss him off. Looks like he brought the Stalkers back with the Zealots, so yeah, that'll make me go away. Well, actually, that stays. See, this is what I should have done with Watts. Is really, instead of just disengaging with the mutas immediately, I should have just kept doing the damage until I know he was absolutely done. So again, in this regard, we still have Watts is taking the opportunity here to play with the Medvacs and the Bio Ball. I don't think these two have interacted once yet, which really just goes to show that in my free-for-all play, I think HydraLord myself here is spending way too much time trying to engage each player tit for tat.